Welcome back. I'm Allyson Lewis, a time management expert, and today we're going to be talking about acknowledging the pain of being too busy. Now, I know that's something that we can all relate to, acknowledging the pain of being too busy. And I don't mean that this is going to be just an easy conversation to hear. We're really going to be talking about why time management is so hard, dealing with procrastination and interruptions and distractions, and how that affects every part of our life. Well, this is the second video in a three-part series, and I want to go back quickly to video number one. And in video number one, we were talking about how to get rid of your to-do list, and this was a very practical video. So if you haven't had an opportunity to watch it, I'd encourage you to go back and watch video number one. And we talked about how this is a really typical Saturday morning grocery to-do list, that you need to pick up the groceries, mail a package, wash your car, clean out the garage, and finish your laundry. This is important. Creating a to-do list is one of the foundations of time management because you're taking tasks out of your mind and you're putting them onto a sheet of paper so you won't forget to do them. And you can actually prioritize these things. But what a lot of people don't realize is that when you write down what you said you're going to do, you're actually making a commitment. You are creating a written commitment between yourself and this list. And so here's what happens Saturday morning. You wake up, you grab your list, and you go to the grocery store and you get that done. You actually go to the post office and mail the package, and you wash the car. All of a sudden you get a phone call and you have to go do something else. You still have your list, but you get home, you realize it's 8 o'clock in the evening, and you still haven't even started cleaning out the garage or working on your laundry. Why is this so hard? Because you felt really good about marking these things off your list. But when you held that list in your hand at 8 o'clock and you said, good gracious, I haven't done anything towards this, I haven't started the laundry, you have broken your commitment with yourself. And this is why we begin to see the pain, is that we had made a promise that we would do these things and we did not. That's the beginning of pain. So what happens now is that this rolls over to another to-do list. So on the second to-do list, you still want to complete the garage, you want to do the laundry, but now you have more tasks, more tasks, more tasks, more tasks. You don't get these things done, the next day you have more tasks, more tasks, more tasks. And you can see that this just compounds until it's an enormous problem. And what happens with this is we just get overwhelmed. Now, when I'm teaching these classes, I do a lot of reading about what words mean and how they can give a visual illustration of what we're talking about here. And one of the words that I looked up was overwhelmed. And the word overwhelmed means being buried beneath a crushing mass. Overwhelmed, being buried beneath a crushing mass. So let's talk about what we mean. Now today, the point of today is to acknowledge the pain of a busy life. That's what we're doing, is we're acknowledging what it feels like to be overwhelmed. And so let's look at this. This is a concept I call the choke point. What is it like to be overwhelmed? Now let's move to a work day. Here we talked about a weekend. Let's move into a work day. You show up at the office and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things on your to-do list. And what we want to do with a to-do list is we want to have clarity. We really want to understand what we need to do, and we have to prioritize those tasks so we get the most important things done first. So let's take task number 1, that you need a proposal completed. So here's what you have, is that you have this proposal and it's due tomorrow, and that's the first task that you have. That's what you've said is going to be most important. So you still have these other 5 things that you want to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You walk into the office, you have your to-do list, you're very clear about what you want to accomplish. The goal of a to-do list is to take the first project, a proposal, to start it and move it toward the end of the day where you can say project number 1 is now finished. That's what time management is about. It's taking a project or a task, knowing that you want to do it, clarifying why you're going to do it and how you're going to do it, prioritizing that task. In this case, our task is to create a proposal. You walk into the office with your to-do list, you know you want to start it, and the goal is to take that proposal and get it to finish. We call this the outcome of your to-do list. But let's talk about the choke point and how life really happens. You come in and the very first thing that you want to do is the proposal. It's due tomorrow, it has to be completed, you have a hard stop deadline. So you walk in your office, you sit down at your desk making a commitment that you're going to get this proposal done. And as you walk in and sit down, you see all of the file folders sitting on your desk. They're to-dos that you didn't do in the past. There's still tasks and to-dos, but they're piling up on your desk. So you sit down and almost immediately you feel this sinking feeling about the fact that you've added a new to-do on your list. So you've got this proposal and you're beginning to feel a little pain, a little stress. Well, before you start on the proposal, you open your email and all of a sudden now there are 10 or 12 or 50 emails coming into your work life. So what you had said you would start and finish now begins to become a little cluttered. And it becomes harder and harder. On top of the email, you have phone calls that come in. People knock at the door. Not to even mention the fact that your phone is ringing, you have text messages, you get tired and hungry. So we walked in the office with just 5 things to do. It seemed really reasonable. But as all that happens before you even start, you feel overwhelmed. You are caught beneath the trap of this huge, heavy, unbelievably painful mass of guilt. And what does that cause? It causes pain. But I'm not just talking about a little bit of pain. I'm talking about the feeling so overwhelmed that you're stuck, that you can't move forward, you can't move sideways, you can't even spin around. You don't even know what to do. So we become frozen. And I call that the choke point. This choke point is where we become stuck. We become confused. We find ourselves spinning in circles. And what's happening is everything that's coming in, there is nothing coming out. There is no output. And so this just isn't even like 1 or 2 commitments. All of these things that are sitting on your desk are commitments that we did not keep a commitment to for months. And they bear an emotional toll on us, and it's painful. In today's video, the whole point of it, I just want to acknowledge the pain of being busy. It's not really our fault. Life is just crushing in on us, and there are ways to deal with that. We're going to be talking about that in the next video, but what is your opportunity here? How do you deal with the choke point? And I want people to visualize this, because one of my purposes in life is to share the fact that having the pain of having too much going on can move from, oh, I'm a little worried about not getting that proposal done, to the anxiety of it making your heart beat fast, to the stress that becomes that crushing feeling, to absolute depression. And the reason I share that is that our company is becoming very real. I want to be transparent that I am a big advocate of mental health awareness. I suffer from anxiety and depression. Even now, it's a battle I'll probably face my entire life. But today's video, as you go through it, is going to offer some hope and suggestions of how we can just acknowledge it and live through it. this is real. This is how we face life. I don't want to be stuck. I don't want to be living in the choke point. So this is a daily opportunity. How many times have you walked into the office with a simple to-do list? All of a sudden, the files on your desk, the emails that you face, the personal phone calls, the text messages take you to a choke point, and you feel stuck so that you walk out of the door at 5 or 6 or 7 p.m. and you feel like you've accomplished nothing. Well, let's look at another scenario of the choke point. That's just a simple day. Let's step back and let's take 100,000 foot view of the choke point. Let's look at our life, the 100,000 foot view. At some point in life you were born, at some point in life you will die. This is what we call time. Time is constantly moving forward. There is no going backwards. If you have dreams here and you're choked up and can't work on them, time is going to continue to move forward, but your dreams are going to stay here. So what does that mean? What does that mean to you when time and life is moving by, but you're standing still? It's a choke point. You know, at the 7-Minute Life, we talk about priorities and purpose and living into all the things that are meaningful in life and understanding that you can find purpose and hope, and not just in your own life, but that you can share it, that we all have dreams, that we want life to matter. So let's step back and look at the 100,000 foot view of the choke point. You have your dreams, your purpose, your priorities, the things that you want to accomplish in life. My priorities are staying connected with my faith, learning and growing every day, to find wisdom and to focus on my family and love and friendships. You know, I'm 56 years old. I have 2 kids. My parents are 88 and 82, and I know they won't mind me saying that because they look amazing. But these are priorities in my life. And I want to have that as an outcome. I want to have that where I spend time with those things and so many more things. But what happens is we have these dreams, we understand everything, but our daily lives encroach, and I choose to let a text message be more important than my parents. And what comes out of that, and I hate to say this, is pain. We've made commitments that we believe these things are important, but we're letting all of the things choke out the important. So let's talk about the third part of the choke point. The third aspect of the choke point. What we think might be a solution. If you're new to the 7-Minute Life and to the Allyson Lewis principles and concepts, we teach the key of understanding your priorities. And that's in a whole nother video of knowing what you value, what's most important to you, of creating a written purpose statement. Purpose is what we do for others. Purpose is how we use our own strengths and talents to change the world. But love is the foundation of purpose. What do you love? Who do you love? And we have goals. And we try to help people create meaningful goals, personal goals, and work goals that will take them from where they are today to where they want to be. And this is an outcome that I want in my life. This is an outcome that thousands of people come to our website, to our webinars, and to our classes because this is the outcome that they want. This is the outcome I want. Today we're talking about acknowledging the pain of being consciously aware. Well, what would happen if we became consciously aware of this? What if we had pieces of paper, books, planners that we could hold in our hands, a tangible, visual understanding of these things, that this is what we want to have in our life, that the outcome of what we do is purpose. You would think that understanding these things would make the choke point easier. But, again, even being aware and committing to this outcome, life still crushes in. We reach the choke point. We realize that time is moving forward. This is where we're born. This is where we die. Here are our purpose and priorities. Time moves forward, and we leave all of this behind. And it's frightening to me. The choke point. The choke point of being overwhelmed and stuck. And so if this is true, how can we begin to find solutions to this? If we know there's always going to be this choke point, and that these things are never going to change, and they're not only are there going to be file folders on your desk and text messages coming through and news that you're sitting down to watch and dinner with family, there also are going to be health issues and financial issues and relationship issues and just issues. And all of these things come in. We want to put our dreams and our hope and our faith in all of these, and we're looking for an expectation of an outcome. This is never going to change. This webinar is just acknowledging the pain of being busy. Acknowledging is the first step. But recognizing that this is not going to change is the second step. And so if we're always going to live in the reality, the next question I have is, then what? Then what? Do I have to just accept this and live a life without outcome, without purpose, without priorities? I think the answer is no. The then what is what we call creating alternative pathways. If something in your life is not going to change, the only option we have is to create alternative pathways. So what if, knowing that this structure is not going to work, what if instead you could take this structure? That you could bypass the choke point and come to some kind of new understanding of what this might look like, where your dreams and your purpose and your priorities are here. This is where you are today, and how you can move down this alternative pathway to actually reach who you want to be, where you want to go, and how you want to impact the world. That's why we're watching this class. That's why I believe that the 7-Minute Life is a time management company, but it's much more of a life company. Time management is about making decisions, but it's also raising awareness of things that we can't change and accepting the fact that we can't change them, and to look for other ways. Let that soak in. The distraction's going to come. You're still going to feel overwhelmed. You're still going to be busy. There are still going to be file folders on your desk. But what if you had a different way of getting to your dreams and priorities and purpose? Let's take a look at what that might be. I get pretty excited about this because I think it's the alternative pathways we have to find in life. It's, what do we want? What are the alternative pathways? Well, time is going to constantly move forward. That's why people come here. Time is going to move forward, and there is not one thing we can do to stop that. But I think we can become aware of other things, not just aware of the pain of being busy, but aware of the opportunities of the alternative pathways. Now, I'm in a Bible study, and we're reading the Gospel of John right now. And in that last night, I was reading my notes, and there were some words that stuck out to me. There were 3 words. The first one was vigor. And I started focusing on what would my life look like if I took an alternative pathway using the concept of vigor. The vigor means energy and excitement and enthusiasm. What if I could use those things to cope with the fact that I can't get everything done? What if I could look at the second word, which is to revive? What does the word revive mean? What does it mean to you? Revive means to restore life. To restore life. To regain life. To restore is to hope that things can be better. Again, to restore the energy and the hope and the life that's within us. But this is the alternative pathway. Number 3 is the one that caught my eye. The third word is something I guess I should just focus on, but the third word is regenerate. 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 That is a completely alternative pathway, because regenerating does not mean fixing, because I don't think this can be fixed. Regenerating implies that you have something new, completely new, not just a better, not just a version 2, but something completely new. And that is exciting to me. Today we've acknowledged the pain. We've talked about what it's like to be overwhelmed, to have that huge crushing mass, to be buried by it. We've talked about that time management, the busyness of the choke point makes us feel stuck, and it fills us with worry, anxiety, stress, and even leads to depression. And I fight that battle. And it's something that we can all work towards, finding alternative pathways out of that. But I wanted to talk about the reality of life. And I wanted to talk about the outcomes that we want from our priorities and purpose. That in my life, I want to regain vigor. I want to have the willingness to put in effort with enthusiasm and to regain energy. I want to be revived. I want to feel like I can restore. I want my life to be restored. I want to regain it. The choke point squeezes it out of us, but I want to regain it. If the choke point is not going to change, then what can change? We can be regenerated. At work, at home, in our hearts and our faith, we can find new ways to do something different. Now, that's kind of leading you, I feel like the person that's at the news at 10, come back at 10 to hear about. Well, I hope you'll come back to the next video. I don't want to leave you with an understanding of there's a choke point and there's nothing you can do about it. I believe there are alternative pathways that can take us in an entirely new direction. This is something I believe is going to be life-changing. I think this is very important to know, but the next video, the third video in this series, is going to talk about moving from being stuck, moving from fear into freedom. I want life to be different. I want to have the opportunity to move forward step by step by step. I don't want to be stuck. I want the vigor. I want to feel revived, and I want to learn how to do that in a new way. So what's the next step? The next step first is to share this video with your friends. I know if I'm feeling the way that I feel, of moving from where I am today to where I want to be in life, then my guess is you are as well. First thing, I'd like you to share this video with your friends. Second, I'd love for you to like it. And I want you to comment on it. How real is this to you? Talk to us about how this makes you feel and how we can help you solve or create solutions for this. What kind of training can we do to help you understand that there is a new pathway, a different focus on time management, a different way to walk through your day? I'm pretty excited about that. So I'm looking forward to seeing you in the third video. What have we done today? We've talked about the to-do list. How can we work through the commitments and the broken promises? We've talked about feeling overwhelmed. We've talked about feeling stuck and defeated. We've definitely spent a lot of time talking about the choke point, that that's not going to change. And so the only thing that can change is a knowledge and understanding of taking alternative pathways and creating better time management skills with that. We're going to be talking about that in video number 3. So I want to leave you like the 10 o'clock news. Come back and we'll be solving these problems. I am so glad you're here. I'm Allyson Lewis, and we're going to be talking about the next time how to fix the problem of the choke point. I will see you then.